In this video, I am going to factor a trinomial. Remember, a trinomial is a polynomial with three terms. The given trinomial is x squared minus 13x plus 12. To factor a trinomial, we use a special strategy, and that strategy involves the following. In the trinomial, look at the coefficient of the square term. The coefficient of the square term in our case is 1 because x squared is the same as 1 times x squared. And then look at the constant terms. So constant term is 12 here. So 1 times 12, which by the way gives me 12. Now I have to take this 12 and factor it in such a way so that some of the factors become the coefficient of the middle term, which is negative 13. So 12, I could factor it out in many ways. So let's try it. Obviously 1 times 12, and then it's also 2 times 6. It's also negative 2 times negative 6. Remember, negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. Then it is also 3 times 4, 12. It's also negative 3 times negative 4, which is also 12. And then what else is there? One thing, one purpose, I put it at the end, which is also negative 1 times negative 12 is also 12, that positive 12. Now look, 1 times 12 is 12, but 1 plus 12 is 13. So you have to add these two factors. 1 plus 12 is 13. But I have what? Negative 13 doesn't work. 2 times 6 is 12, but 2 plus 6 is 8. Not negative 13, what I'm looking for right here. Negative 13, the coefficient of the middle term. So let me write this one as well. 1 plus 12 is equal to 13, but we need negative 13. Negative 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, but negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8, not negative 13. Then 3 times 4 is 12 also, but 3 plus 4 is 7, not negative 13. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12, but negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7, doesn't work. Finally, negative 1 times negative 12 is positive 12. However, negative 1 plus negative 12 is equal to, by the way, negative 13. This is exactly what we have. So what we have to do is take this middle term, break it into two terms, negative 1 and negative 12. So we're going to write it as negative 1x and negative 12x. So if we did that, the first term doesn't change, x squared, and the last term is 12. Only the middle term changes, which is, by the way, negative x minus 12x. Why did we do that? Because this is the one we are considering that gives us what exactly we are looking for, negative 13. So negative x minus 12x is negative 13x, exactly what you have here. All we have done is taken this negative 13x and broken it down into 2. In the process, what I have done is I have taken a trinomial and converted it into a quadrinomial, and now what I am going to do, I am going to group them. So basically I'm going to group this, create a group like this, first group and the second group. In the first group, I could factor out an x, that's going to give me x minus 1. In the second group here, I could factor out a negative 12, that's going to give me x minus 1. So what I have done, in essence, taken a quadrinomial and reduced it to a binomial. Remember, a binomial is a polynomial with two terms. Now, please note, in the first term I have x minus 1, in the second term I have x minus 1, so I could factor out x minus 1. If I did that, I will be left with, in the first term, just x, and in the second term, negative 12. Negative 12. So, what we have is the following. We have x squared minus 13x plus 12. If we factor it, we are going to get x minus 1 times x minus 12. Now our factoring is done. However, I'm going to do something slightly different. What if you were given this is equal to 0? This is an equation. So that means that this would be also equal to 0. This is a new problem I'm creating. we are done with the factoring part. So what if this was set to 0? Now look, after we factor it, we can actually solve for it. Think of it as a product of two numbers, x minus 1 and x minus 12. This is one number, so this is my first number and this is my second number. I am multiplying two numbers, the end result is 0. Let's think of it this way, in a simple way. A times b, a and b are two numbers, and I get 0. Either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. If a is 0, then it's going to be 0 times b, which is 0. If b is 0, it's going to be a times 0, which is also 0. So either a is 0 or b is 0. Also, there is a possibility both of them are 0. In that case, it's going to be 0 times 0 is equal to 0. What if we don't know in our product? So in our case, this is my a and this is my b, and I don't know which one is 0. So let's consider one by one. What if x minus 1 is equal to 0? In that case, x is going to be just 1. I add 1 to both sides. What if it's not true? What is the other one is true? X minus 12 is equal to 0. In that case, my x is equal to 12. So, as it turns out that I have taken this quadratic polynomial and quadratic equation in this case and found the solution. X is equal to 1 and x is equal to 12. So in this equation, x squared minus 13x plus 12 equal to 0. If I plug in x equal to 1, the left hand side will become 0. If I plug in x equal to 12, left hand side will become 0. That means x equal to 1 and x equal to 12 is actually a solution to this equation. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.